Welcome to Heavy Metal Monday.
Hey, it's Mike Capriglione coming here live from Varsity House Gym. Welcome back to another edition of Heavy Metal Monday. Okay guys, so today we're going to talk about a very important movement, okay, for strength athletes, okay, and for contact sport athletes as well. Movement that we do a lot here at Varsity House Gym, and it's a movement I do a lot with my clients and personally myself, and that is the good morning, okay? The good morning is a great hamstring developer, okay, but it has to be done correctly, and it has to be, I really think, with your advanced athletes and stronger athletes and clients. What I'm going to show you here today is a pin good morning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the rack like a regular squat would be. Take it out at the pin setup, which you'll see where I'm going to, on the slats, like the side slats of the racks, I'm going to do my good morning. I'm going to come down to the bar, to the slats, hold my position in my good morning position, and I'm going to fire up out of that pause position. So I call these pin good mornings or pause good mornings, whatever you want to call them. I do these a lot with my athletes, and then I want you guys to check that exercise out, see what I technically do. I know there's some different variations how you guys do this, so we'll talk about it after you guys take a look at this exercise. I'm going to do 10 of them here, and then we're going to move on to something new today. I know I've been doing, we just finished off my top 10 songs, and we finished off with what I thought was the #1 song of all time in rock and roll, and that was Freebird by Leonard Skinner. So today what we're going to do is we're going to start a little bit of a new series here, and I'm going to do albums. I'm going to talk about albums of the week and some of my favorite and top albums, and especially some of the newer albums that have come out. I think there's been some really great albums in the last 2 years that have come out. We're going to go over some of the songs on those albums and the bands and stuff like that. So that's it, guys. So let's check out Pin Good Mornings, and stay tuned at the end of the show for my instead of heavy metal song of the week will be my heavy metal album of the week. Let's do it. Okay guys, so there you go. That's the pin good morning. Okay, so the way I teach it, okay, a lot with my clients is I really try to keep the natural arch in the lower back. So when you watch this video, when I take a client to this through this, okay, the way I teach it is you're going to get in there and you're going to take the same grip and the same setup that you do for the squat. Now sometimes, depending on who I'm dealing with, I may tell them to put the bar slightly lower on their upper back, because you'll notice sometimes with the good mornings when they come down like that, where the torso, after the hip unhinges and the torso comes down, they may have some thoracic immobility, so you may see them kind of like rounding. So you may want the bar to be a little bit lower, and that will help that. But basically everything's the same, like you would do for a squat. We walk it out. I like to feet in a little tighter, about shoulder width and pointing straight. And what I try to teach is when we begin the movement is obviously keeping the abs tight, performing abdominal bracing, right? So we keep that lumbar nice and stable. But we want to start the movement by what I call is unhinging the hips, right? The hip hinge, okay? And that is the first part of the movement that you'll see here is I begin to push my hips back before I do anything else, okay? And I try to break the body into two pieces, right? We go from head to waist, and then we go from waist down the toes, all right? So basically that torso and lower half are two separate pieces, right? The lower half is going in one direction while the torso is going in the other direction. And while you're performing these two different positions, the back has to stay nice and flat, has to stay rounded. We cannot lose, okay, the integrity of our lower back. That's the #1 telltale sign if someone's doing the good morning incorrectly. That's why, beginners and novice lifters shouldn't really be going with a good morning. They're probably going to struggle a little bit with it. When I begin the movement, I do the unhinging of the hips, right, the hip hingement. And I like to do about a 4-second count down, and I control the eccentric movement down because you want the hamstring stretch. Now there I was just doing just the bar for 10 reps. And I've done good mornings a lot in the past, and they're a pretty heavy staple in my program. And I'll work up to some max effort weights. So with just a bar, I still feel you should be able to body weight to do it, like a body weight RDL. You should still feel the engagement of your hamstrings. You don't need an excessive amount of weight. So really, with our college athletes, it's really about getting the hamstrings engaged, right? Getting that hamstring stretched, and really, getting the lower back nice and strong and stuff like that. But we don't really worry about loading the weights up, right? You got to remember who you're dealing with. If it's a strength athlete and you got powerlifters in your gym trying to, set deadlift records and squat records, they have to be pushed a little bit. But if you have a college athlete or pro athlete that, their main goal is to get onto the field and play healthy, you may not want to be working up to excessive weights. But these are still very important exercise for lower back strengthening and hamstring strengthening. So you may want to do it with bands, just the bar with bands where they pop up and fire up those hips nice and hard, because it's a good hip driver as well. So you'll see when I'm doing it, I really try to get that pause on the pins, and then when it's my time to go, I'm really trying to go from that flexion to extension really fast and really get that bar moving really hard with that hip extension. So I think this is the number one exercise you must be doing, but you have to teach it correctly. And to go back to the eccentric loading, the 4 seconds, the reason why I like to do that is that I want people to feel their body moving. A lot of times you get it, some people will come down too fast, right? They pop off the pins, they hit the pins real hard. I don't even want to hear the bar on the pins when I'm teaching my clients. The bar should be silent when it hits the pins. Complete and total control. If you're blasting the pins, no good. If you're coming down too hard where you're losing the integrity of your back, no good. So I like that slow eccentric count to really start. When you're coming down, you're really pushing the hips back as far as you can. You're really bringing that torso out and over, and you're really trying to get really a good hamstring engagement. So there it is, guys. That's the Pin Good Morning. We do these a lot here at the gym. Really throw these in, but make sure you choose the right clients and athletes to do these with, and make sure you understand how to teach it correctly. Okay, guys, so let's move on to my heavy metal album of the week. So there's been a lot of great albums that have come out just in 2016 alone. I've talked a lot about it, okay, and I know I talked a little bit about Megadeth's Dystopia that came out in 2016, and I love that album so much. But today we're going to talk about another album that from an old school band that's been kicking butt for so many years, and that is Anthrax. Anthrax put out an album in 2016 recently called For All Kings. I'm gonna go out and say it's one of the most catchiest metal albums that I've ever heard. It's really an awesome album. If you've been listening to Anthrax for a long time, they've been touring a lot. So unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to go see them. I planned on going to see them a few months ago, and it didn't work out. But I hopefully will get to see them soon. So For All Kings starts off great, ends great. I think it's important as we do this now, as we go on to, we're going to do some albums here in the next few weeks. I think it's important to understand that when you write a good album, the introduction to the album and the outro of the album is very important. So the beginning and the end really dictates how good an album really is, and this album has it all. So it's the album For All Kings by the band Anthrax. Make sure you check that out. Guys, enjoy the Pin Good Mornings. Try those exercises out with your clients. All right. If you got any questions for me, please get them in as soon as you can. Make sure you check us out here at varsityhousegym.com. I'll see you guys all next week. And until then, stay heavy.